Yo, ladies and gents, Boomer here, and welcome to a brand new Rocket League series on my channel. Today we are beginning a coaching analysis for every rank in the game. This is going to go hand in hand with two upcoming series that I have planned, but I figured I should start something like this because I get a ton of questions on stream and in the YouTube comments asking what are the best tips I could give for each rank. So I decided that a series like this will be perfect to answer those questions. Before we begin, I just want to remind you guys that I am a streamer over on Twitch. If you guys want to talk to me in real time, ask me questions, or even see me play different games, come stop on over for the vibes. I'm also a coach for Rocket League. If you're interested in receiving a coaching session from a coach who is also a high-level player, join the Discord and check out the coaching section. I will leave the links in the description below. But without further ado, let's get right into this. Okay, so for today's video, we have a Champ 3 analysis from a player named Hannah. She is steadily pushing Grand Champ, and I believe her teammate at the moment is Champ 2. So we're going to go in like I normally would on stream. We're just going to take a look at what is preventing Hannah from reaching Grand Champ, what separates Champ gameplay from Grand Champ, and also see what current champion rank looks like. Let's go. Okay, so how I typically go about doing replay analysis is I will do one full watch of the game just to see what's going on and what I can get a grasp on, and then we will go back and break down every single goal and why they are happening. And then I will obviously provide the best tips I can for each rank. Obviously we can see the goal right off the rip here. Oh, very good first touch. Try on the 50. Teammates in a very awkward spot there. And let me know in the comments if you guys would rather have me do these videos like I break down the entire game, or I'm just giving the best advice for the player who sent the replay. Because I can definitely do both, but I think for today's video I will just strictly be giving Hannah advice. A little far here from the teammate. The spacing seems like a little awkward. This lobby definitely feels like one player is playing a lot faster than the other, and one player is very, very passive. And I think that's the case for both teams. I'll say Hannah is playing quite aggressive right now, as well as Tasman. And the other two players are trying to keep up. This type of pacing can make it very, very awkward, especially if you're not adapting and adjusting to your passive teammate. It can be a lot harder to get them incorporated into plays and stuff like that. And there'll be a lot of spacing issues, a lot of gaps for you and your teammate to cover between the two of you. A lot of jumping going on, too, that we don't need to be jumping for. Good anticipation here. Both the orange team players are playing in like one spot, which I would like to talk about a little more in a different video. Not the greatest touch from our teammate. I'd like to see a follow-up shot. Nice. Well done. Boost grab here would be huge. Little too aggro on that shot. There's very, very big gaps in the space. If you notice where all four players are, there's always just big gaps of space all over the field. Good beat. Well done. Something champ players can definitely do better is just play the beat sometimes. It is very interesting for me to watch gameplay like this. Obviously, people come to me in Twitch chat or YouTube comments and they ask me like what the best tips are, or best generalized tips I can give for these ranks. But at the same time, it has been a long time since I've been in these ranks. Obviously, when I was in gold or diamond, the game was very, very different. It was definitely not as mechanical. It's definitely not as fast paced. So it's interesting to see the lower ranks having newer problems to deal with because the game has obviously evolved so much over the years. Players have gotten a lot better at defense. People have gotten a lot better at mechanics overall, so the meta for the game has obviously changed, so it's very interesting. Oh my goodness. Jump scares with these almost own goals. This game is very chaotic at this point in time. It's very sloppy. I've yet to see somebody take very, very good control of the ball. A lot of lunging going on too. Demo attempts. Nice. Well done. Get rab boost. Go again, potentially. Made yourself awkward. That's fine. kind of staying on the ball just a little too long. It's going to make it hard for your teammate to want to get in there. A good fake chow there to get the player to flick. Good try on the air dribble. Nice. This is what I mean by the meta. Right there is a good representation of what this 2's meta is like. It's very, very cut, play to space, cut, distribute to space to your teammate. For those of you that want just a base understanding of what 2v2 is like, it is very, very, in its simplest form, just getting one player out of the play and isolating the last player. Whether that be a 2v1 or a 1v1. So if you want it in generalized terms, that is what 2v2 is. And I feel like that's why a lot of professional players play it. At the highest level, it becomes very, very fast-paced, of course, but it is non-stop trades of possession, as well as you're swapping offense to defense in, you know, a few touches. Or depending on how your plays develop. If a player challenges you, stuff like that. Okay. Okay. That's a decent goal to tie up with 26 seconds. I do think that goal only goes in because of how poor the defense was set up. The way that they postured was very, very poor, which I will touch on later as we go over the goal breakdowns. Big booming touch to the corner. Oh, that should be a goal. Oh, unfortunate. Yeah, just a lot of rushed 50-50s. I think something a lot of champ players can benefit from is having a lot more intention behind what they're doing with the ball. Stuff that I would normally see from Grand Champ players, right? Having a little more intention in their mechanics. Grand Champ players definitely look a lot more dangerous, but as they should, right? It's a lot closer to the highest rank in the game, so. Champ is that step before. Ooh, ISO 1v1 right here. Very nice. There you go. This is exactly what I'm talking about. As soon as somebody took like time and control into the space, right? You obviously have a mistake from the blue team player right there. He leaves his teammate alone, but this blue player is putting himself on the goal line with no momentum. So it's the perfect time to, you know, set up a flick or you know, low 50 like this. It's perfect. Well done. Okay, let's actually go down and go back and let us break down every single goal and opportunity. Okay, so obviously the very first goal, this is a very simple one to break down. This is a problem with the cheat, okay? She cheats up just a little too far. So for those of you that are wondering how to cheat in your games, I, myself, being a high-level player, and playing against, you know, other high-level players, I would highly recommend that you play soft cheat or hard cheat, and they're very easy to distinguish. A hard cheat, I would say, is when you flip and boost. A soft cheat is either you boost and do not flip, or you flip and do not boost. So as you can see, the mistake here from Hannah is obviously she's not speed flipping or anything like that, but she flips forward and boosts a little bit, and then when she lands, she boosts just that tiny bit right there, and that pushes the car forward enough to where this ball you can no longer jump for. You can no longer react to. So part of what I would say for soft cheating is if you're going to boost and flip, think about it like this. Get to the first penny and then take your finger off of the stick and take your finger off of your gas so that your car just will pause for a second. You don't have to brake. You don't have to brake. You can just let up on the gas a little bit and wait for the interaction to happen. You can never tell how your teammate's kickoff is going to go. What I'm looking at here is my teammate's kickoff looks late and looks wide. So not only did he speed flip late, he's speed flipping wide. So most likely if he doesn't reach the middle of the ball, his kickoff is going to be very, very poor. And I can probably go look at his POV just to see if the kickoff technique was poor. Yeah, so he's not even speed flipping, he's side dodging. And then he doesn't even push through the middle of the ball. And he flipped the wrong way. So it just ends up being a mess. And then Hannah pushed up too far, so it's a goal. So yeah, I highly recommend soft cheating. First opportunity here. Oh, and you can see this one is the kickoff right after is perfect. So we flip up, we don't boost. And she's not moving. It's perfect. Now the interaction happens, now we can react. When the mid boost there, up in the air. First touch could be better. The issue I see here is you're airling just a little too much. When you want to get up to something like this, just keep your car up. Simplicity is best. I don't care if you jump up there like a bot. Literally just match the ball's height first and get the first touch before you start airling. The aerials are so unnecessary here, and not only that, you're fighting your own momentum to get up. You can see right here. You probably could have got the touch with still 70 boost in your tank. If you just continue to point the car upwards. But that little arrow right there, you're then fighting through the air to get up. And your first touch, it looks like you wanted to reset after, but this is not set up enough or set up well enough to go for a reset. Even if you do end up getting the reset, you're probably going to flip it into the floor or have little to no power, unless you get some crazy type of flip cancel scoop. And even then, it might still be easy. The 50, the idea is great. Your teammate is just, waiting for the interaction. But the only issue is you peeled off to the left of the ball just a little too much, when I would prefer that you stayed in front of that, because then most likely that 50 is a little more controlled and killed in front of the net, so that your teammate could have actually followed it. But you can see it spills just a little bit to the left because you ended up flying the ball on top of Tasman's car, and now your teammate's angle to shoot this is just obviously not the best. He does a great job of touching this around and not touching it into the opponent, which is something I think every champ player can learn from. Because in this type of spot, obviously, yes, you think you should rip a shot, but if this player full speed uses the rest of his boost and flips this into the post, it's going to end up being a goal for the blue team because Hannah is still in the net, still recovering to get back into the play. So if this player was in a better spot, and didn't lunge for this, they could have already been shooting this if they stayed on the floor. I have no idea why he's going backboard here, but I would have stayed on the floor and just shot that open net. Because right here, this player is just backing up, and you have a free shot all day of the week. I feel like sometimes people kind of forget about the simplicity of the game, and you could actually, when you're at a higher rank, learn from lower ranks, because a platinum player would just roll this ball basically into your net. At least in my head. I don't know what platinum rank looks like, but don't flame me in the comments saying your plat teammates can't score that. Okay, so it was actually a better play from your teammate, and then it lets you get out and recover. Let's take a look at okay, we're jumping way too early for something like this. Something I think we all need to pay attention to more, and this can be applied to any rank, literally any rank, because even sometimes I forget. When the ball is hit towards you, you have the advantage. So why would we jump early for this? This puts, not when a player hits the ball too far from themselves and too far from their teammate, it makes it harder to follow up for both of them, right? So this ball is now in your favor. Even if this player would have to be basically supersonic to close that space on you in time before you got a pop or something like that. And this player continued to push up and then turned away. Meaning, if you just took a little bit more time, took a touch, or you waited just a little bit, just a little bit more to get better power on the shot and keep it down, that's a goal 10 times out of 10. Every single time. And a little arrow right wouldn't hurt either. You could have arrowed right just a little bit to keep that shot down, and you could have hit that top right. But good try. Jumping early was something that I think is a bad habit of most champ players. So you can see this is another one of these examples. So Tasman ends up hitting a ball that he cannot follow, right? And now it's in contested space. It's not too far from himself, and it's not forward towards Hannah. It's in contested space, right? Now, the things that make this difficult to jump for this player is they are completely underneath the ball. And I guarantee their camera angle is looking at the sky. So it's going to be a lot harder to get up to something like this if you don't just go up like a brick. And what I mean by a brick is literally fly like that. This is perfect. But the only issue is this player then starts to push forward on their stick for some odd reason. And this causes their car to nosedive. So when you're trying to beat somebody or at least block somebody in terms of elevation, just get up. That is something that I appreciated from pro players way back in the day. I remember when I was in Champ 2, I 1v1 Lethamyr, and I just got dusted to everything. And I went there and sat in the replay, and I wondered, why he was so much faster than me. And it was because I was air rolling to everything. Meanwhile, he was just focused on getting up and then making his correction when he needed to. And it's something that's extremely simple, but it's something that goes overlooked all the time in this game. So you can see what Hannah does differently. Obviously, she has a better angle for this ball, but she gets up, and then once she gets that height, she's then making the correction to play the beat or play the 50, which is a lot better than what the blue player does. So you can see this interaction ends up coming off looking like this, right? So in terms of an elevation play, she just gets a tiny bit higher than this player and hits it over. And this allows, for the beat, playing the beat, and teammate gets a free net. Love to see it. More simplicity, please. Let's take a look at why we concede here. This is the own goal, right? Yeah. Okay, so this is something that I would recommend you all do when you're looking for mistakes in your own replay. Go back a little further. Before you think your team, let's say you think your teammate or yourself made a mistake. Go a little bit back more, and let's see how we end up in that spot. Okay, so we have a poor pinch 50 in the corner. Teammate is hitting the ball away or shot attempt, overextending, not rotating back through the pads. Then we have an attempted pass back. Teammate whiffs, we own goal. So a goal like this, right? Most people would get upset and be like, oh, why are you not ready? Or why are you missing that? Right? You'd probably blame your teammate. In reality, most goals that go in like this are a result of multiple mistakes. It's a domino effect. That's how Rocket League works. Rocket League is a game where one decision leads into multiple decisions. So it's never a game of one person makes a mistake and then it's their fault. You have to think about it of there are mistakes everywhere in this game. Even pro players at pro level play make mistakes. Otherwise, how would any of the goals go in, right? It matters what happens after mistakes. The decisions we make after mistakes. So the first mistake here is how our teammate jumped. The first mistake is the 50. We do not need to be 50 in this like that. It fortunately ends up in a good spot for our teammate, but our teammate has little to no momentum. So they're sitting on the goal line with zero momentum right now. Not even driving. The interaction happens and they're jumping not only early, but from zero momentum. So they're going to burn all of their boost. And then this touch is going to be very, very soft. So something I would love to see these players do more is keep more momentum. And the ways you can do that is just play your angles. So, what is going on with the drawing? So, play your angles. Rocket League is a very linear game. The ball never curves. The ball always is on a straight line, right? So play your angles more. Do a wide turn out here. Use your boost and get some speed going so that when you do jump for something like this, it doesn't take you all the... Like 46 boost is more than enough to get up to this and get a hard touch. You could probably hit that to the backboard with 46 boost. This is like a training pack setup right now. And instead, we're jumping from little to zero momentum. And then we're attempting, I guess, a shot on target. This ends up giving the ball away. Now, the other mistake here is when you have overcommitted and used all of your boost, and now you are out of the play, and you have given the other team the ball for free, you need to get back and assist your teammate. Now, you could do behind the play stuff here and be a disruptor. You could go for demos. You could try to cut the ball again for your teammate. Or you can just go back and support, stack behind them. So I would have loved to see this player just turn into the... Why does this keep happening? I apologize. This drawing tool has not always been the greatest thing. It's just freaking out. What if I just draw with the controller? I would love to see the player just hop into the pads here and go let Hannah filter into the play, right? Grab the mid boost and filter in. But this player then decides to flip for some odd reason and just like chase the player from behind. So now we just end up in this weird scenario. And then Hannah, the next mistake is from Hannah. So there are times where you can pass the ball back. Yes, but they're very, very situational, and it's very hard to learn where those spots are. This is not one of them. This is definitely not one of them because, first of all, not only is your teammate overcommitted, so your job is to buy time for them, but this is the biggest no-no, because if this player was just a little bit quicker with their like takeoff, they could have just shot that like without having to jump off the wall and turn their car. Does that make sense? So you can see he's obviously lining the shot up, but he takes the extra second to jump off the wall and like air roll towards the ball. When in reality, they could have just played a beat with a side dodge or a diagonal flip, and that's just in your goal. And then you're playing a pass back to your teammate that you don't know is like recovered or got boost yet. So this just ends up being like a very awkward ball for your teammate to go for rather than helping them. And then obviously they miss, and then we own goal. So it's a whole mess. I would have rather you recognize that you're beat here, and a lot of these mistakes include flips. I would need to make a whole video about why flipping is such a bad thing in this game. Too much flipping is a bad thing in this game. But you should recognize your beat here, and I would have just gone to stack. Have that 2-layer. Your teammate can get this boost and turn in, be the one to force, and you can cover the high or cover the low. Either or, I would have rather you guys had defense is a 2-layer than you forcing a pass back to your teammate who just got boost, just turned his ball cam on, and just recovered. Because you're now forcing him to go for this. Does that make sense? You're now forcing him to go for this ball. And clearly he was not prepared, and then we still could have saved this. But I'm not sure if that's a controller input mistake or we just panicked, but it is definitely still savable for sure. But that entire goal is because of a ton of mistakes, right? Rightfully so. You guys should get scored on for that. We have an attempt out of the blue team here. Let's see. Wow. Very, very good setup. Pass in transition, pass into the midfield, nice and floated. These type of passes are like training pack setups. So again, same issue here. We're jumping from little to no momentum. We have more than enough boost, but we don't have enough speed. So you're going to burn all the boost and get a light touch. It's 2 bad habits that I've seen now. Let's see why we have no momentum. We have a missed recovery, and then we're not speeding up. So if I was in this spot, even if you mess up the recovery, you can have a good idea of what's about to come. You can see what's about to happen. So I would, get out here, get some speed going, be ready for this. And you don't even have to jump this early. This is like, if you're in this spot instead, right, let's say we're playing right here. Not only can you see if another player is up for this, work your camera angle for that, right? Pick the better camera angle. Not only could you see if somebody's jumping for that, but you can see how much time you have for this ball. No one is up for this ball, and both orange team players are back in net. So realistically, you could have waited till the ball came down here, and then you could have banged it to the backboard. Give them a real problem. Hit it to the waterfall, like up here. Give them a real problem. Even past that. You could pass that back to your teammate if they landed in time. But instead, we're just like constantly jumping for these. Even if you wanted a double tap, you should have got a better angle to that for sure. Let's take a look at another orange team opportunity. Okay, so we have a mistake here. Again, I'm not sure if that's a controller issue or not. But we definitely don't need to be flipping towards that. Even if you didn't backflip, if you flip towards that, it's going to make it even more awkward for you to go for. I would just hop into the pads there and get a nice angle. Get a nice angle on that ball, right? Come over here and look at this bounce. Right? You can line up a shot. You can line up a pass. You can line up a solo play. It's a lot better to do it from this angle than... Look how stiff we are. And then this ball goes here. It's very difficult to tell if one of them has it, but it looks like we also didn't let go of gas. We continue to just drive forward, not expecting like... When I say like play multiple scenarios, like play in a spot where these guys might miss, right? Because now they do miss and you're still driving, so that's a freebie, and then your teammate also takes a very poor shot. But That's a freebie right there. Okay, on to the next. Another opportunity here. That's a much better cut. That's also a good shot, top right. Oof. These are the type of situations where it's like, you would want to punish somebody for going for boost at that point in time. After you get this beat, I would really focus on like your surroundings. I'm not sure if you knew that the goalkeeper just left for boost, but right here, you do not need to hit that hard. I think you hit it very well, but if you actually got the flip on it, you probably would have scored it, and he wouldn't have got back to it. Let's see the equalizer. Yeah, I remember this. So I remember saying before that I think this is a goal that only goes in because of how poorly the defense was set up. You have one player who's not covering multiple scenarios. So right here, this is good. Very, very good. Not only are they covering the pass where the space is at, so that's where the threat would be in my head. They can cover your flick, and they can challenge you, and they can cover the angle towards the net. So they're covering a multiple amount of options at this current point in time. Now, the issue with what you're doing is the space that this player has covered is you are playing into this space, right? Obviously, this player can like cover probably this. You're playing into what they have covered. This is an issue for me. I would prefer that you just play this to space because this is very overpowered. Not having somebody cover the space. If this ball is laid off, not only would you drag this player into trying to cover the space, you might get both of them to try to cover the space, but you provide your teammate with an opportunity of outplay. So even if you just flick it, even if you roll it, even if you drove it, and then your teammate fucking hits it off your car like a golf ball, it would be better than dribbling like slowly towards the other team, right? And then your teammate could just have it rip a shot, force them to save something, force them to do something like a ones game. But this only ends up working because this player then leaves what they have covered and takes like a very, very stiff angle. So good outplay, yes, but it's also bad defending from them. And then this player doesn't follow up for some odd reason. They can see that you do not have control of that, but it's because they had no momentum. So making a turn like this and getting speed from nothing is going to be difficult. And then it seems like they hesitated, which then allows you to just get another pop over. So I will commend you for good outplays, but I think it only goes in because of how poor the defending was. And then this, you could have won the game right here as well. This player does not play the bounce. They play it in a very, very troll manner. They're sitting, parking under it with no information. It is very, 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 very poor. I think the biggest issue I've seen with this current rank, this Champ 3, Champ 2 rank, that separates them from Grand Champs is they are not working those wide angles. They're not giving their camera, a chance to see what's going on. And then from your perspective, I would take a lot more time to line this ball up. Obviously they jump for it, but you can have definitely got, just a wider turn in there because they slow down right here, and then his turn is very, very slow. So realistically, and the keeper doesn't look like the keeper's inside the goal. So realistically, you can get this angle to your top left right now with just a little bit more air roll, and it looks like you didn't flip, and a flip. And you can definitely slot that. And the keeper most likely did not have it covered. Little to zero momentum into the goal, and they're facing the post. So that could have been game winner right there. And then the final goal. Beautiful. So this was the only goal that I saw came from a player taking time and space and deciding the best way to score this. So obviously we have a misflip or just a whiff from this player, which gives you time, and you didn't flip or anything like that, right? Like, look, you just straight up drive to the ball. You're like, okay. Now you take your time, and you see the defender's doing his bad habit, which is he sits on the goal line with no momentum, with a full tank of boost. it's very, very easy to manipulate. You could have lined up a 45-degree flick to the top left. You can air dribble bump. You could single jump pop and flip into them. You can do literally whatever because you have an isolated 1v1 and a sitting duck. So the low 50 is very, very good in this spot. Well done. Very well done. All right, ladies and gents, that's going to do it for today's video. If you guys found this video helpful, I have more of these on the way for each rank. If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate it so much. I'll try to respond to all your comments below as well if you guys have any questions. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one or on stream. Peace.